Megan Fox is essentially a fleshlight.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Classic.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
No more hangers!
You thought you'd become a prostitute or a drug addict?
I used to love doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow too.
Hello, I'm your evil malfunctioning sex bot, Crystal.
And my name is Alice. I don't get tired. I'm strong, obedient. I have no desires outside of fulfilling yours. Oh, sorry, I got caught up in the film. Baby Lame here.
And welcome to Camp Classics, a thoughtful podcast about stupid movies.
You right now?
Every 2 weeks, we are here discussing, exploring, and rating some of the peaks and valleys in the genre of camp in the search of the campest of camp classics.
I'll tell you what, it's been a fucking roller coaster so far, hasn't it? The lack of consistency of our film choices, it's been all over the shop.
No, I think we've been doing things that have been a bit too good recently, so I'm really glad you brought this movie today.
we went rogue today.
I've been plotting movies on the Campometer graph, and I got to tell you, the top right corner where the good movies live is getting a bit full. So we need something to slot down in the bottom left.
Oh well, as I always say,
we'll see how it goes.
See where this goes, because there could be a fight for this one. Just as a little warning. Maybe not.
What would you like us to cover? Well, why don't you go follow us on Instagram at Camp Classics Podcast and give us a suggestion. For some reason, we haven't had any requests for Subservience.
I know, which makes me sort of intrigued about how people might choose things. If you're stuck for ideas, what I suggest is get a bottle of wine. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Scroll through the old Netflix, maybe search Megan Fox. And then within 5 minutes, you'll know. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was a bit drunk and I started texting you like, I found the film. This is everything. 5 minutes in, Megan Fox.
I think I need to follow your approach because I found myself watching one of the Bourne movies last night. So I can't be trusted with the remote.
Thanks, syphilis.
If it does it for you, then that's great, babe.
While you're here, let me remind you that we have a Gatreon where we release a bonus episode every month. We just covered Mars Attacks. If you want to have a say on what we cover next, well, head over there and give us a suggestion. And welcome to our new Gatreon members, Ben and Janine. Now, I will say Ben and Janine have both joined as trial members. So, I don't know, baby, if you've got anything you can say to like kind of get them over the line.
Oh,
They're currently on the fence.
Okay, so I just need to edge them a bit more. Okay. I'm sort of going to channel the film that we're talking about today, and I just want to say that if I run my finger over your heart, down into your trousers or your pants, and give you a little fiddle, will that help?
Oh no, we just lost 10 subscribers.
Listen, I'm just trying my best, and if, a little hand job helps, anything for the cause. Welcome.
Thank you for being here. Actually, I have no idea when this episode's coming out. We're recording before Christmas. I think it's coming out in the new year. So you may have already long gone, Ben and Janine, or you may be fully fledged, fully carded up members. I guess time will tell. Baby, what makes a camp movie?
You right now?
Well, do you know what? I'm going to hurry the fuck up with this because we have someone that is basically the camp cult figure of our generation. And quite frankly, what the fuck do I know? So we will ask them in a second, but our version of what makes a camp classic is something that unlocks queer joy. We want to get excited. We want to get the feels. We want to get a tingle down in our loins. Something that has ongoing legacy. We want something that's a bit stupid, that doesn't take itself too seriously. Importantly, something that informs queer pop culture. And a camp classic is normally something that is anti-mainstream or with an underground flop vibe, much like my drag career.
Thank you so much. Very succinct. And yes, speaking of special guests, please join me in welcoming to the podcast, Peaches Christ.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So glad you're here. Thank you for coming on our tiny little podcast.
Oh my God, my pleasure. You know, I'm a big fan of both of you, and of course, I love the subject. So, as soon as you emailed me, I thought, well, of course, I'd be honored and happy to do it.
You were top of our list. It makes so much sense.
I mean, the connections alone that you have are just absolutely fucking ridiculous. I find it very hard to believe that anybody listening to this type of podcast won't know anything about you. But if you don't know, Peaches Christ was basically responsible for merging cinema with drag. And through the course of that career has become friends with, well, basically, your friend list is ridiculous. Elvira, Mink Stowe, come on, give us some more clangers, Peaches. Who else are you mates with?
Yeah, name drop, name drop.
I mean, okay, the surreal thing about me, much like yourselves, is I grew up this queer weirdo who, you know, found solace in movies and, of course, was attracted to horror. You know, I just love horror so much, but by extension, I think midnight movies, B movies, cult movies, camp movies, you know, really outsider type stuff. And so as a kid who aspired to make movies and to also be in movies, you know, I wanted it all. I wanted to make movies and be in movies and be on stage and make theater and write theater. And I, you know, went to film school and became obsessed with Elvira. Well, actually, before that, it was like Elvira, Frankenfurter, and Divine were like such huge drag influences to me that in the late 80s and early 90s, when I started to do drag, it only made sense that I would model my sort of persona off of these movie icons. And it just led to me starting to do a movie series after I graduated from college and moved to San Francisco. And that movie series called Midnight Mass, where we screened cult movies at midnight with drag shows and all sorts of fanfare. It was where I made a bunch of short films and screened them, but it's also where I started to invite the icons that I was obsessed with to come and appear on stage. And much to my chagrin, they said yes. And Mink Stoll was the first to agree to come. And she
I
and
mean,
I
that's
became
not
very
a bad
close.
booking, babe, is it? Your first booking
No.
and Mink Stowe.
Very.
Jesus.
I was the kid who, you know, I could say every line of hers from Female Trouble. And, you know, I grew up in Maryland. So the discovery of Pink Flamingos was mind blowing. It changed my whole concept of what was possible because I couldn't even imagine that there were people like that in the place that I grew up. You know, it just blew my mind. So Mink was the first, and she gave me the, what was it? I guess confidence to continue inviting folks, and not all of them have become friends. I'll say that, you know, but I would say that most of them have, and so the list. You know, of course, John Waters becoming a friend and a mentor is life changing for me. Elvira becoming a dear, dear friend and my drag mother is life changing. Of course, there's Mink and rest in peace, Tura Satana and I did a lot of shows together, and I've had the chance to work with Bruce Campbell very closely and Pam Grier. And I mean, at this point, I would say more of the, I can honestly say I've worked with more of the cult film icons on my list of obsessions than not. And there's a few that I still haven't worked with. One big one is coming up that I get to check off my list, where I'm finally getting to do a show with Tim Curry. So that's massive for me.
Shit. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
That's happening. So yeah. So anyway, it's a surreal thing, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm just a nerdy fangirl.
Just a normal little girly pops over there. And also,
I'm as stunned as you are.
And of course, you've written and directed a film starring Natasha Lyonne as well. I mean, the end of your talents. Crystal, we basically have someone that really knows their shit about this subject. And I feel like we are just paling in comparison with our knowledge right now. Should we just shut up and just ask Peaches to just talk for the rest of this?
Well, I was interested what you think about our definition of a camp movie, and I don't know, do you agree with it? How would you define a camp movie?
I think, you know, it's so funny that there are some words that are just so subjective, right? Like most words have a real clear meaning. Camp, for whatever reason, has always been the subject of debate. And And of course, feminists have written on it. We've got, very specific definitions. I think culturally we use the word differently. I actually prefer the way it's used in the UK. I think I
Hmm.
connect more to, you often use the word camp as a positive adjective for something that in queer circles it has a very known meaning. Here in the States, I don't know if you all know this, but we don't use that word, and we would. And if you as a Brit were to say to someone like, "Oh, that's so camp," there are a lot of Americans, even drag queens, who wouldn't know what you mean by that. We just don't
Mm.
use the word the same way. I really like the way that you defined it at the top of the show, and that actually is completely how I connect with the word. I think in the States, there's been a sort of dismissiveness attached to it that still lingers, that it's sort of a way to, how should I say this? I think it became, how people use the word gay in a bad way, like, oh, that's so
Mm.
gay, and it's not a good thing. I think that queer people sometimes were dismissed, especially filmmakers and storytellers, by critics referring to their work as camp. And I think
Mm.
in England that didn't really happen the same way. Camp is elevated and respected, and it's considered a positive thing, not a negative thing. And I think in the States there's this way that writers, and of course, having made All About Evil with Natasha Lyonne, it was interesting who would call my movie camp and what they meant by it, you know. So
Mm.
it's still very subjective. I love the word camp. I think we should embrace the word camp, and I hope that your podcast helps change American culture, and that we start to reclaim the word over here.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
so glad you mentioned that because that is just our first objective. Obviously, it's just a smaller thing on the many lists of ambitions we have for this
Yeah.
podcast. But yeah,
Yeah.
changing the American perspective, we're there. That's the
Hmm.
first one.
Yeah.
We can't help but notice from over here that things aren't going so well there right now, and we just thought you could use an outsider's
Yeah,
touch.
we're living in a camp nightmare that if it weren't real, it would be the absolute embodiment of camp. It would be a horrible, horrible B movie.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on the idea around purposeful camp versus the kind of camp where something is so bad it's good. And we've kind of covered both of those on this podcast so far, but do you think that there's a hierarchy of those things? Is one better than the other? Do you think pure camp can only be unintentional, or can it only be intentional? No. What are your thoughts?
That probably right there is the kernel of where this conflict comes from. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because if you kind of look at the Sontag definition and you think of movies like Mommy Dearest, I think that the holy trilogy of camp that was unintentionally something that was misunderstood and became reclaimed by a certain audience because it wasn't what the mainstream thought it was going to be, and some people would describe as so bad it's good. I actually would describe these movies as great. They're just misunderstood by basic trash. And I would say that, those movies, the holy trilogy would be, of course, Valley of the Dolls, Mommy Dearest, and Showgirls. And I think in that holy trilogy of just queer, camp, delicious genius, there's this understanding that it wasn't the intent of, say, Verhoeven and Joe Esterhaus to do what they did, even though Verhoeven would say that it was. And so when you then call a filmmaker like John Waters camp, if you don't change the definition, it's actually wrong, because John knew exactly what he was doing when he made those movies. He was holding a mirror up to American culture and making fun of it, and was a genius comedic writer and filmmaker. So there's where I think you get the tug and pull of like, well, how can you call this thing camp and this thing camp? And if by definition something is camp because it's unintentionally funny, well, then someone like John Waters does not fit the bill. But yet we live in a world where the first person people describe camp, when they reference a filmmaker, the first person that's described is John Waters. So it's
Hmm.
this weird give and take. And I think both definitions are interesting and both definitions are good, but I fall somewhere in the middle of both. where I would say camp is something, you know it when you see it, and it's exaggerated. And in fact, I kind of think of it as drag, like movies that are drag, Showgirls is drag, Pink Flamingos is drag. They can both be camp. And I kind of have given up on that intentional versus not intentional, if that makes sense.
You're so right, because it's like, I love it when camp is just a feeling. When you almost
Yes.
can't describe it, but you're just drawn to something. And I think
Yes.
that like attachment to me is always what I find most exciting about it.
And that's how Brits use it. That's how you all use the word, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was so camp. And it's often something that isn't totally anything more than a feeling,
Yeah,
right?
it's any old
Yeah.
shit, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah. Isn't that what the Supreme Court in the US used to describe porn? Like, it's very hard to actually define, but you know it when you see it.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably.
I think so. And I guess that's a really nice way of thinking about camp too.
Crystal, could you not talk to
What?
Peaches about porn? We've not asked Peaches to come on about pornography, you mucky little girly.
Sorry, it's just been on my mind.
He'll be
all
having a
day.
wank in a minute, Peaches. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It'll turn into a cam sesh.
I love it. Please, wherever the show may take us.
So I guess what you're saying, Peaches, is that this podcast is hopeless because we will never be able to figure out a definitive answer to what is camp.
Which is great. Which is
Yeah.
exactly why I love the way that the Brits use it. And I hope the Americans start to adopt it more. Because I remember going over there the first time and someone said to me, "Oh, darling, your show is so camp." And me being like, "Bitch." But not realizing that, like, it was really quite a compliment, and realizing I had to let go of my old idea because that word had been used to dismiss me so much over here, to really embrace the Brit way of describing and thinking about camp, which might not even be describing it. Like, I think, baby, you're right. It's a feeling, and it's a
Yeah.
positive feeling. It's almost elevated in a way to call something camp,
Yeah.
it means it knows what it is, and it's winking. It's a wink and a nod for a certain group of people, the insider group, the cult. We know what camp is, and they don't.
Meow.
Yeah, and they're not allowed in.
Fuck
I mean,
'em.
right?
Unless they're buying
normies-
tickets to our shows, then everyone's
they're-
welcome.
If they're buying tickets to your shows, then they know what camp is.
Yeah.
I mean, can
truly.
you imagine going to a Baby Lame show and not getting it? It would be
Oh,
a
baby.
fucking
Oh,
horror show.
Oh, we could tell you.
Yeah, it happens
I've
quite a
seen
lot.
it. I've seen it. Picture Baby Lame at a corporate gig. Picture Baby Lame hosting a bank, an event for a bank, because I've seen it.
Wow. and like the queer that gets fired for booking you because they were like, I think she's fabulous.
100%. 100%.
If you don't get the person at the corporation fired, are you even doing camp?
Please, these gays.
Well, do you know what? Oh God, I feel really fucking bad now, Crystal, because it was my big idea. Because I was like, oh, Peaches must be so bored of talking about, all of the big classics, like some of the films she's mentioned now. I'm like, let's give her a curveball. Let's give her something fresh to talk about. It would have been maybe a bit better that we utilised her knowledge a bit fuller, because we've chosen a real fucking shit show for today. We are doing Subservience, aren't we, Crystal?
We sure are. Subservience from the year 2024.
Yeah.
Starring Megan Fox. Briefly, I think the number one movie on Netflix UK. It's, as of recording, still in the top 10.
It was a flop in the cinema, I believe, though, wasn't it? A flaccid flop.
Tragic, boozy, flaccid clown.
It was a flop in the cinema, but I think that's because it was only released in like 5 cinemas in Russia.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
So it's got a box office of something like £150,000, which is not great at the box office. But I think that's because it was maybe like Poland and Russia. It was released in select cinemas in Poland and Russia.
Go off.
And
Go
sure.
off.
Sure. It's got a decent score, I would say, for this movie on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 50% score on Rotten Tomatoes, which surprised me, considering, as we learned recently, Death Becomes Her has a 52% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Say, Mel, I don't have to take this anymore.
Just goes to show you can't trust the public with anything. And just to cherry pick a couple of reviews I found on the internet. So The Guardian said about this movie, it's like The Hand That Rocked the Cradle and all those other crazed nanny movies from the 90s, but with an AI update that, like nearly all AI updates, you didn't really need. 2 stars. Morgan says it's basically a ripoff of Fatal Attraction, but with robots. 1 star. And Anezka, who I also found on Google, said, I've never written a movie review before, but this movie was so bad, I had to leave one.
Well, that actually is kind of impressive. If the movie inspired someone to actually write something, that's something.
Camp.
Yeah.
I think there is something quite camp about getting a lot of 1-star reviews, and I'm here to hold space for that.
I'm actually glad that you chose this movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you chose this movie, and I agree with Baby Lame. This was a curveball for me, and I would not have watched it if you hadn't forced me to. So, but I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that it's out there and that we get to discuss it.
You wait,
Perfect.
This will be the next big event you do. You'll be with all of the cast reenacting it on stage. Actually, I would fucking pay for you to be Alice. I would see that. I'd see Peaches Christ as Alice.
Oh my
100%.
God. Well, I mean, I would probably not play, the way I write these shows. I often write them for other people. I would be much more interested in writing this as Baby Lame as Alice and Crystal as the frumpy wife.
Oh, yes. Wow.
I'm sold.
Yes.
Yes. I finally made it. I actually just was watching an interview with that actress, and she said this was her first time playing a mom, and she was really excited.
Oh.
Like, Han.
I think there's quite a lot of first times on this film with the cast, crew, everybody.
First
that's
time
involved.
speaking English. Before we get into the plot, do you have a quiz for us, Baby Lame?
Of course I've got a quiz. It wouldn't be a Camp Classic podcast without a Baby Lame quiz. Peaches, are you ready to dive in?
Yes.
You right now.
Question number 1. Although this film, as Crystal has identified, wasn't really released in the cinema, the promotional copy does have 2 clear taglines. I'm wondering, can you guess either of the said taglines?
She'll fuck your husband.
That's a ting. It's not the right one, but I'm giving that one there.
Okay.
Something about batteries not included, or
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
or what's the Energizer Bunny motto? She
Keeps
goes
on
and goes
going,
and goes.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good one as well. Guys, get this distribution going, and we can just tagline the fuck out of this movie. Should I tell you what they were?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is, she's in your home. She's in your head. She's in control. Nah.
She'll fuck your husband.
Yeah, she'll fuck your husband.
husband.
But then I actually think this next one's quite smart. Don't turn her on. I thought that was good.
That's
that was
actually that to me is what's great about the movie, which is that it is this sort of pulpy, drive-in type, trash, which actually is what I enjoyed about the film is it is that, and that tagline totally fits that sort of clever 50s, innuendo. I love that tagline.
Yeah, they did one thing they did well. Okay, next question. Megan Fox has had an illustrious acting career since arguably her biggest role in Jennifer's Body, which I think we can all agree is a camp classic, even though we haven't talked about it. She's done many, many, many films. I'm just wondering, could you name 3 titles since Jennifer Body of what she's done? Any guesses?
Since Jennifer's Body.
Yep.
The only other thing I know that she's done is the Transformers movies.
That was before Jennifer's Body.
Oh.
Any
shit.
ideas?
Well, she did something else with the director of this movie that I hadn't heard of, but got referenced when I was researching it. But it had something like death in the title, or dead, or
Till Death is one.
Till Death. Yeah.
I have to opt out of this because I cannot think of Transformers. As soon as you said it, it's like, oh yeah, that was kind of her big, thing. But if that didn't happen after, I can't think of anything post
Well,
Jennifer's
listen,
Body.
let me give you a few more titles. She was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film as April.
Oh,
Might have been a
okay.
made for TV. And I'm just going to throw some.
wait, what did she get the same fuck ass bob as she wears in this movie?
Oh my god, we need to get to that iconic fucking wig, bitch. That needs its own segment. Okay, wig alert is coming. Okay, I'm just going to throw some other titles up that you might not know. Passion Play, The Dictator, Think Like a Dog, Midnight in the Switch Glass, and Night Teeth. There we go. Oh, and Good Morning, as in Sad Funeral. So there are some classics out there to maybe go and find if you didn't know those films.
I'm interested in Night Teeth.
I know.
Yeah, Night Teeth. What's that?
Do you think it's just about is it just about putting your dentures in a glass of water and in some seltzer?
Yeah,
those are my night teeth.
There you go. It's the short.
It's the sequel to the movie Teeth. Do you know that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that would be a great one to talk about, Crystal.
Yeah, it would
Fabulous.
be. Yeah, you have to add it to your list. Yeah. It's vagina dentata.
Oh, perfect. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we could also do a threequel to that, and we could call it Back Teeth, and it's about anal dentata.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
The trilogy is right there.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, next question. Megan's co-star Michele or something. I don't know.
I think Michele. Yeah.
Well, did you know? Aside from being an incredible actor, he also has another sideline hustle. Any guesses to what it is?
OnlyFans.
It should be. He's hot.
I mean, I would subscribe. That would be my first.
Me.
My first
Jesus
OnlyFans.
Christ.
I will say that was the one thing that I was like, well, it's got him in it, and he was fun to watch.
Oh,
delicious. I mean, it did seem like some sort of queer person cast the movie because you've got him, just total eye candy for the gays, or I guess for anybody. But I don't know. He looked like there were just shots of him that were just so gay porn that it was almost hilarious. And then Megan Fox is just
and also he's not
queer,
a gay,
queer
but
icon.
He looks like a gay. He's got that like rough trade thing. There's something gay about him. His tattoos were gay.
Yes.
He's so straight that he's so concerned about male validation that it's made him look very, very gay.
Yeah.
You're so right. The way he
bro.
was smoking his cigarettes in the car, I was like, no one smokes like that. You've literally just got. It was kind of hot though. But no, you don't know what his side hustle is.
No, I bet he's got some kind of really annoying whiskey brand or something.
Maybe he has. My research hasn't gone that deep. He's a pop star.
He's a pop star.
He certainly is. And I've given some of his music a listen. It's very Enrique Iglesias vibes, very impassioned. But some of the song titles include Hard for Me. You said it, girl.
Yeah.
Feel It. And then my favourite, Dark Room. I shit you not, Dark Room.
No. Well, what's his deal? What's his personal life?
Well, he's recently divorced because of the Dark Room. But I actually I googled the lyrics to Dark Room, and it's living in the dark room. Yes, I'm living in the dark room because I'm living in the dark room. Save me from this fucking dark room. Yeah, whoa, yeah.
Okay, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
That's so funny. I've said that exact thing on a Monday morning in Berlin. I feel like I've been living in here.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So there we go.
Hilarious.
Check out that. Download now on Spotify. Next question. On to Megan now, and I want to know: can you guess what Shakespearean tattoo she has and where it might be?
Oh.
To be or not to be.
That's all I've got.
Yeah,
too.
it's a tramp stamp.
I mean, it should be that. It's actually from King Lear, and she's got it tattooed on her right shoulder, and it reads, "We will all laugh at gilded butterflies."
I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but girl, I am living.
Oh
my god.
That's actually so funny because I was laughing at a gilded butterfly earlier today. So she's right.
So there, it just makes sense.
What does it mean?
Right, last question, and can you tell we're doing filler stuff now because there's hardly any plot to talk about. Megan Fox has many talents, but there's one in particular that involves language. Any guesses?
She can fit her full fist in her mouth.
She can scat. She's a scat queen.
well, I think that's actually very close, and I haven't double checked this fact, but apparently she has the ability to speak in tongues.
Well, that's kind of a form of scat, right? Yeah. So, like, was she brought up? Because I'm actually fascinated by that. Like, when you're brought up in these evangelical, I don't know if you have them over there, but, in America, these evangelical crazy churches where they dance with snakes and, speak in tongues, and also where they do things like the preacher touches your head and you convulse and, the demon leaves your body. I want to go to these churches. I think I would be endless. I would rather go to that for free than pay to see a Broadway show. I just can't get there because there's none near me. But I'm fascinated by it because the performances are unreal.
Oh, yeah. And you think you know about death tipping? You think you know about a little drop to the floor? They're literally throwing their bodies, aren't they?
Yes.
Let Jesus fuck me.
Yeah. I mean, because that speaking in tongue thing, like, it's, how do they learn that? It's very convincing.
Well, there we go. Well, little Megan Fox. Have you ever met Megan Fox, actually?
No, I wish I had, but she is from Tennessee, and so my guess is, that maybe she grew up in one. That's probably where she. Oh, yeah, I'm looking right now. She was raised very strictly Pentecostal. There you go.
Oh.
So she was taught as a child how to speak in tongues. It's kind of fascinating. It's so cult-like and twisted, and But over here, we're like, oh yeah, that's just Christianity.
Wow. I'm kind of fascinated by Megan Fox. I think she's pretty cool.
I love her. I think she's fabulous. I love her.
Yeah.
I think I think it's a shame that after Jennifer's Body, it's another one of those movies that was reclaimed kind of too late. She deserved praise for that film. That film, in the horror genre was kind of, it was misunderstood when it came out. And I think a lot of it was just that a lot of horror dudes, a lot of horror editors, a lot of horror reviewers were straight white guys who were, I have to say, I feel like my own movie was a little bit of a victim to that. When you look at things like Jennifer's Body, where it's ahead of feminist horror, or you look at All About Evil, where it came out, not to toot my own horn, but it came out before anyone was talking about queer horror. Some of these things were a little bit ahead of their time. And I think that Megan is a great performer who knew exactly what movie she was in. And she is fucking awesome in that movie. And I feel like we should see her more. And I was really excited to see her in this. And I actually, I don't want to jump the gun, but yeah, I enjoyed her in this movie.
Yeah, her performance is so, notable in this movie as being very robotic that I was like, wait, is she a bad actress or is she acting in this movie? And so then I went back and watched a load of clips from Jennifer's Body, and I was like, oh no, she has levels, she can do it. She's got the juice, actually. Okay, maybe she's not the world's greatest actress, but she's got some ability.
I am a god.
Well, that's what was fun about this movie, right? She's supposed to be a robot. Spoiler alert. She is AI, and she is. What I liked about it was she didn't really overdo the stuff that's designed to be creepy. And so if you really watch her, she's really restrained in terms of letting you know that that there's this human component to her. She's actually probably one of the best parts of this movie because her performance is actually so nuanced, believe it or not, that when it's supposed to be creepy, she doesn't give in to the obvious. She still plays it robotic with just a hint of sinister, I might be actually wanting to fuck you for other reasons.
Yeah, with just a nod of that. And also, a huge dollop of pettiness. She's a petty little bitch from the beginning.
Yes, she is.
Do you think that if Jennifer's Body came out now, it would be well received? I kind of think it would.
I do. I think there are movies you see that are just a little bit, they're just a little bit before the zeitgeist. And I think there are examples of feminist horror and queer horror or camp horror that the nice thing for my film was that it was well reviewed. It just didn't have a way to get to its audience. And I think with Jennifer's Body, it was unfairly reviewed, because of misogyny, so I actually think it would do well today. I think, you look at something like The Substance and how embraced it is as it deserves to be. But if The Substance had come out when Jennifer's Body did, sadly, I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been dismissed, because a lot of the people in control and the people that gatekeep even genre would have deemed it not good. But what really would have bothered them about it was that it was feminist and directed by a woman.
Mm-hmm. Or Megan is another. Not Megan Fox, but Megan the movie is another example of like a very silly horror movie that kind of does a lot of what Jennifer's Body kind of did, but was really embraced for it.
Well, we can't talk about this movie without talking about Megan, right?
Absolutely. M3gan. It's funny that you brought up The Substance, though, because it is a really good example because, as I said earlier, Death Becomes Her has a 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and
Insane.
The Substance has a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly, right? Like, if Death Becomes Her came out today, it would completely be understood because our understanding, the fact that Oh Mary is on Broadway, like the fact that we've become sophisticated as a culture in terms of understanding camp and cleverness and feminism and queerness in these products, these stories, whether they're plays or movies. It really has changed. And Death Becomes Her, in a reevaluation, is one of the greatest comedies ever made. And Zemeckis, in many ways, is one of those rare straight directors who totally got camp. He completely knew what he was doing. And he was doing a send-up of an old Universal monster movie in a feminist, queer, female-centered way, and it's brilliant.
You pushed me down the stairs.
Should we get into the plot of this movie then?
It's pretty simple.
We're just avoiding actually talking about everything other than this movie, aren't we now? So
we're talking around it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to just say Megan Fox plays an evil robot who is sexy. She tries to kill people and eventually dies. Or does she? The end.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time, right? Like this is essentially it is essentially a movie we've seen made a million times. It's Megan, it's Terminator, it's so many different things. The interesting thing about it coming out now is that I literally just saw, and this is going to be a shock to no listener because of the I live in a city where we have driverless cars everywhere. My friends use driverless cars. You the car drives up, there's no one in it, you get in the car and it drives away. We're living in an era where these things that we thought were only ever going to be movies are now reality. But this week I saw a robot that you can buy for your home that will do your laundry, cook dinner. This is happening. This isn't sci-fi, right? Like, so this movie, even though it's a bad sci-fi movie with a great tagline, it's actually here. Like, this isn't Transformers. Like, we're in the era of subservience. Like, it's happening.
That robot you can get, will it fuck you though?
That I don't think so. And it doesn't look very attractive. In fact, the one I saw was kind of male, and it looked like a mannequin kind of with no face. And it looked like it was going to fall over if you tapped it. You know what I mean? Like, they showed it walking and stuff. And I'm like, clearly they have a long way to go before it gets to the Megan Fox level. But the fact that it's being rolled out is just crazy to me. Everything is crazy. The world is so crazy right now. So you watch a movie like this, and you know what? 10 years ago, we would have watched a movie like Subservience and been like, oh my God, it's all so ridiculous. Whereas now you kind of watch it and you go like, yeah, well, yeah, it's just right around the corner.
Totally. That's what I really liked about this movie, though, actually. Like, we've seen so many documentaries about creepy old guys with their sex doll robots.
Right.
They can, like, give a blowjob. As you said, this robot's going to fuck you. You're not fucking this robot. It's going to fuck you, and then it's going to fuck you up. That's what's happening right now.
I, for one, welcome our new sexual predator overlords.
I'm loving you.
Yeah, I mean that's there's stuff. What was the other? Oh well, Alien. Alien had those AI, and then they redid Romulus, or they didn't redo it. They put out Romulus, which is kind of a throwback to the original Alien and Aliens movie. But watching it through today's lens is so different than watching it in 1980, where it felt so sci-fi. But when you interact with an AI in a movie now, you realize this is Alexa. This is the world we live in, and it's weird. And so, even though Subservience is kind of a piece of trash, it does come from a place. It hits different right now, I guess, is what I would say. Is like it's like, oh yeah, like this. We don't know. I mean, the fact that AI is writing movies right now, and AI can have a sense of humor. That's
it
so
probably
fucking
wrote this
scary.
movie, to be honest.
Actually, right?
I mean,
it easily could have.
Crystal isn't even hosting. This is actually Crystal's AI talking to us right now. She's actually just having a lovely time on holiday. But
it'll probably do it.
Yeah.
Talking about AI and robots, this brings me very quickly, because obviously I want to know very quickly, top 3 robots in films. Go. Peaches.
Well, for me, I guess I would have to say probably Chucky would be, I mean, if we think of Chucky as a robot, right? He's an animatronic doll. I was thinking about that actually, and I was thinking like, oh yeah, it used to be Chucky really is less about technology and more about possession, right? Like Chucky's a possessed piece of technology, not technology gone mad. So obviously, I guess I would say Terminator because it's so iconic and so powerful, and I really like that first. I actually like both those first movies a lot. I don't know, what are your favorites?
I really like the female Terminator in the little red catsuit thing. Oh yeah, I love her. She's at the top for me. I also, have you ever seen the film Lady Terminator, which is this just like weird, very cheap remake of a Terminator film, and I think she's one of my favorites as well. Yeah, she's very glam, very 80s. What about you, Crystal?
I will also shout out a Terminator, but it's Mackenzie Davis playing a Terminator in, I think it was called Dark Fate. It's like a quite recent Terminator movie, but she plays like a butch. She's like a lady version of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the second Terminator. She's very butch. She's like just giving pure lesbian Terminator vibes, and she's very good. I also was thinking about this though, and I'm gonna shout out the Buffy bot. I don't know if you're not a Buffy fan, are you, baby?
No, sorry.
Well, there was a Buffy robot on the Buffy show, and she started out as just a sex bot, but then she had her moment.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Well, I was thinking about killer robots as far as this movie goes, and a movie that popped into my head is an old movie called Chopping Mall.
Oh my God,
yes.
Where I was trying to think of like, when did the first, like, what I was trying to think of early killer robot movies, like, did they exist, back in the early 80s? And they did. Chopping Mall, the title is actually kind of deceptive because it sounds more like a slasher running around a mall, but really they're robots that were security robots that turn on the humans. And, so I think these ideas have been around, I mean, since forever.
I was shocked even just in August being in LA and seeing robot delivery drivers.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere, yeah.
Like
the robots
food.
that are just like rolling down the sidewalks and stuff. Yeah,
Have you seen this? Have you seen this, baby?
No, I haven't. I've seen the cars. I've seen the cars, but that's it. I've not seen anything else.
No, so these are like you order your Uber Eats and you've got like your chicken selects coming from McDonald's and they get brought to you on a little robot trolley.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like the rules of feminism.
So what did we like about this movie? Let's do that because
Nick.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Okay.
Which is really, really me just giving into my lecherous, gay, old man self and just saying, you know what? He's beefcake. He was pretty to look at. There was plenty of, I love the shower scene where he fucks the robot. I'm a perv. I'm trash.
You see, darling, you are a whore.
There was a moment where they have him in a flawless gray wife beater fixing a car in a garage where he clearly has no idea what he's doing. And I thought to myself, this is straight out of 80s gay porn. Like, he's completely non-convincing in this role as some sort of auto mechanic dude. But it doesn't matter. His beard is perfect. It just was porn. It was gay porn.
Yeah. I literally wasn't paying any attention to what he was saying for all of this film. To the point that, like, I would say 2/3 into the movie, I was like, oh, what's his accent? I literally was like, I thought it was like American, and then I just wasn't listening to him, and then I was like, oh, okay. No,
I think he's
Italian.
He's Italian.
Yeah. But I literally just wasn't paying attention to anything he said. Like you said, I was just like, he's just in like a really good
He's
porn
dreamy.
film.
Fuck me! Fuck me! Fuck me!
But what I will say is, as queer people, and a lot of the films we talk about and a lot of films we love, suffer the male gaze, and it's very misogynistic on women. So I really think this is about turning the tables. And what I will say is, this film was written by a man called Will Connolly, famous for Escape Room Tournament of Champions. That might be a famous one. But there was also a female writer called April Maguire on this movie. So I really see that balance and that attempt to kind of reshift the balance of the movie, and they've really gone in there, haven't they?
Crystal says no.
I say no. I think if we were gonna have that, we needed him naked at least 3 more scenes.
Well, we did get the butt shot, right?
Yeah,
we did get a butt shot. Did get a butt shot. He was hot. I just found his entire character so stupid and unbelievable that I kind of found it impossible to sexualize him. But
you don't like him hot and stupid?
Well,
with a drink problem.
Now that you put it in the category of gay porn, I think I can come back around to it. I'm like, oh, he's not supposed to be a real person, but it's almost like the movie didn't convince me that it was making fun of him enough, and so therefore I was like, they're trying to sell me on this, and I'm not buying it. He's just like, basically your classic toxic man. He's got an alcohol problem. He's a construction worker. He loves fixing his car. He can't really speak. And,
he's not a dad. He's not a father.
He's threatened by encroaching modernity, and he just wants a hot slut he can bang because his wife is dowdy and boring. I was like, this man is the worst man. I can't believe we still have characters like this. Now, when you put it in the category of gay porn, I'm like, oh, actually.
Fuck me! Fuck me!
Well, I think that's the thing about the movie is it's so bad, right? Like that you do get to this point where you forgive. Well, not forgive, you just accept it for what it is, right? It's this acceptance. Yeah. And then it's kind of like the world we live in now. We were talking before the podcast started. Crystal was saying, oh God, I feel so bad for you guys, everything that's going on. And it's kind of like, it's so bad. It's so fucked up that I just find that I'm just finding joy wherever I can find it. And that just means leaning into my friends, my family, whatever, enjoying every single day that you have because the world is a shit show. And this movie was a shit show. So it's kind of like, okay, he is attractive and I'll lean into that, even though it's completely, and the gay porn aesthetic of it is that it's so bad that's the way I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Where you see one thing that drives me nuts about movies, and I think we're all guilty of this, is like, nothing ever looks lived in, right? So everything he's wearing looks like it was bought just off the rack, like yesterday. It's all perfectly clean. The shoes are perfectly clean. The fact that when we got to the point where he's fixing an oily engine in a car and wearing a flawlessly clean, gray, tight, wife beater was where I was like, okay, this is porn. And they didn't even bother to put any grease on his hands or his arms or anything, And the filmmaker in me is going like, they didn't even try, That to me is porn,
Well, what I think we're being very hard on this young man's acting skills because he's already got a franchise of films under his belt. He starred before this. He starred in a film called 365 Days. He starred in the sequel 365 Days This Day, and then a sequel to that, which is the next 365 days. So quite frankly, I want to see these movies.
What?
He's got 15 million followers on Instagram.
More than us put
after
together.
After this show, he's got to have 15 million and one. Oh.
So that franchise is like 50 Shades knockoff for Netflix.
Oh, is it?
And he plays like a dom top in a straight relationship, and it's all a bit S&M-y.
Right.
Basically.
Love it for him.
So yeah, cue that up for yourself next time.
Fuck me! Fuck me!
But let's talk about Megan, because
yeah,
I mean, seeing her in her Kim Kardashian Skims bra and sort of just going for the jugular, sitting on him, putting a blindfold on, turning her robot voice into someone else. I was like, this is a woman that knows what she wants and she's going to get it. And I think that is something that's a beautiful thing, quite frankly, personally.
I mean, in a way, so I'm gonna have to agree with Crystal. Sorry, baby. That essentially the movie is written from a male gaze point of view because
April says otherwise. Sorry, April says otherwise.
It's very well, it's like a great fantasy, and it's a fantasy for a certain straight guy who grew up lusting after Megan Fox, and so in a way, it was kind of brilliant. Like, we haven't seen Megan in decades. I guess she was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I mean, we really haven't seen her. And at one time she was the quintessential, for all the people who, had Pam Anderson, all the straight guys that lusted after her. I feel like Megan Fox was the one who came in and was this next generation's, like the ultimate hottie. And she shows up, she looks great. But she also looks older. I liked that they didn't, CGI her neck, and I thought. I mean,
Crystal, I would never normally ask this, but there's only one sound effect that you can put in on that moment, please. That was.
I don't even. What's funny is
scraggly old neck.
I don't even mean it as shade. I mean like good at a girl. Like she's 38 years old. Like I really liked it, but her body is fucking banging, and she gets to show it off. But it's also this fantasy for straight guys. Ultimately, Let's face it, the wife, there's nothing wrong with the wife, but they definitely frumped her up, to kind of, juxtapose her with Megan Fox. And it's like, basically, this robot shows up and forces you to fuck her. I mean, that's essentially like the meat of this movie.
Yep.
And the major conflict of this film is that, and when she doesn't get, the husband that she wants, or the man that she wants, or she doesn't get to have the relationship with him that she wants, she goes bananas in the third act. But the real crux of this movie is about her fucking this guy.
Could I just offer something into this discussion? In this film, spoiler alert, the reason that it all goes to shit for the Megan character is he sits down and watches Casablanca with her, and he says, I want you to watch it and not know this. I want you to deprogram yourself. And she learns to do that. And that's what causes all the chaos. And go, is there a world that the robot was falling in love with him? And actually, she really was developing something more than just fucking. And actually, this is like a passionate obsession story about true love. Is there a world that is beyond that?
Yeah, I think it's a real commentary about how women actually can't be trusted with their emotions because, they fall too deep too hard, and then before you know it, they're murdering babies. And that's just because women, when you really, robot or human, they're really, they're dangerous creatures who should really only be viewed as sex objects, because if you go any further than that, they might kill you.
There we go.
I do think you're right, though, baby. I do think that that is kind of what the writers are leading us to believe, and they're playing on these sorts of conventions, you know. But it is also misogynistic in a way, because instead of her being loving and understanding that, you know, if you love someone, you don't drown their baby. You get this sort of person who's, well, it's the fatal abduction. I mean, sorry, fatal attraction. My show was called Fatal Abduction last year. Fatal attraction. You know, commentary that was mentioned at the top of our discussion, where, you know, she's not a woman who can determine what a loving woman would do in these scenarios. She's jealous, she's vindictive, she's a bitch, you know, she's motivated more by those tropes than any real love. But we're supposed to buy that in some weird way she's fallen in love with this person.
Yeah.
So it's misogyny, baby lame.
But,
get with it.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I think I can get on board with those tropes when it's a movie that's 30 or 40 years old, like Fatal Attraction, and you're like, this is, well, it doesn't stand up to modern standards, but it did do something at its time, and it's fun to revisit, and it's fun to watch. I think it's bizarre as fuck that a movie like this is getting made in the year 2024, when the message does seem to be, like, women crazy.
Yeah, and especially when you consider that that you're dealing with a robot, you know, where you could even forgive Fatal Attraction for, like, a lot of homophobic films of that era, for being a victim of not having enough positive imagery around women. But the movie itself, the movie in and of itself, is about mental illness, and Glenn Close's character is clearly, you know, suffering from some sort of, you know, mental illness, and it causes her to have this manic moment where she goes after Michael Douglas in a very specific way. It's actually a great movie and a great performance and a great script, but it suffers from the fact that, you know, we didn't have enough strong, you know, just like when all queer representations at the time were of psycho killers, you know. But we can go back and look at it. This is not a good movie. You know, here's a movie that's made today, resting on 40-year-old tropes, which I think it's. I'm agreeing with Crystal in doubling down, going, they didn't even need to do it. She was a robot, you know.
Well, can I just say one thing? Maybe Alice was being a bit brave in identifying that children are the problem, and they actually get in the way, and they are the cause. And actually, sometimes all you need to do is drown them in the bath, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay, no judgment if you want to drown a child in the bath, is all I'm saying.
They're trying to murder me.
This rosé is good, guys.
I was going to say, I think Baby Lane might have had a real insightful moment there.
Yeah, something clicks with me.
Yeah, she's snuffing out the heteronormativity. Maybe this is, you know, a queer movie.
That brings me maybe on to one of my other problems with this movie, is that I just wish it had been a little bit more fun.
No one's fun anymore.
Yeah,
I found it a bit fucking boring, if I'm honest with you. And, like, when you compare it to Megan the movie, not the actress, that movie is fun. It's funny, it's stupid, it's not taking itself too seriously. Whereas this movie, Subservience, I think did take itself quite seriously, and therefore really suffered from it.
Whatever happened to fun?
But there were moments that were delicious. For example, I absolutely loved it when she turned on her semen detecting UV mouth ray.
Yes, that was amazing. That was brilliant.
That was a spectacular moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But they should have used it for cum, and she should have found out he was masturbating by using her UV light in her mouth and gotten really jealous and then, like, broken his hand. That would have been fun.
I completely agree with you that this film had the potential, the cast, you know, the budget to be in line with something like Megan, but it's not fun enough. It doesn't go far enough. And then when it does go, you know, when it dips its toes into sort of the fun stuff, it sort of retreats really quickly, and it just didn't add up to be something that I'd want to watch again. Whereas Megan, I would, I'd be into seeing that again. I thought it was a blast. It was really fun.
But can we not talk about like the whole Terminator thing when she comes to life with the bad wig? And then she's like moving around with the Terminator half face, going to rip out the mum's heart. I mean, what else do you want? That was ridiculous.
Yeah. She looked like she was about to represent Eurovision from she's like Bulgaria's entry for Eurovision in that ball.
That wig was a choice, right? That wig was a choice.
To me, I agree with you. It was great. It sounds great on paper, but somehow in this movie, it wasn't as satisfying as it should have been. And part of it's just that you kind of could see the wheels turning and kind of predict what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it just felt kind of cliched. It was fabulous to a point.
Yes.
Maybe it just wasn't fabulous enough,
Yeah. Definitely when I saw that wig, I got a lot of joy, but I was definitely getting joy at the expense of the movie. And the movie was trying to tell me that wig was fine.
And the movie was too long also, right?
Yeah,
at that point, that's the other thing with these films is, and I don't know if it's because they're designed for streaming or what, but like movies in general are just way too long these days. This is a pulpy, midnight movie, fun, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it. It should have been 90 minutes tops. One of the things I love about the Shudder original films is they typically are like 90 minutes, 96 minutes. And movies are served better when they are edited, when they are shorter. Baby, you're an editor. I'm sure there are places in this film that while you were watching, just like myself, where you were going, this scene could have been half as long.
Yeah.
This scene wasn't necessary.
Punch it up, leave them wanting more, always.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It really, really, really dragged on. It felt like in lots of parts, this was like a TV series. And I think I've seen TV series like this probably do this theme better. I would just like to put one quote out there that I really did think actually punched some weight. And I thought, you put your dick in her. That means something. Just wanted to say that was just one little quote I had. So next time you put your dick in someone, it means something. Remember that, listeners.
But his retort was actually very good, which is basically, this would be like me being jealous of you for using a vibrator. And I thought, he has a point. At the end of the day, if they're all just machines, Megan Fox is essentially a fleshlight,
That's what she's worked for her entire career. To me.
I mean, that's kind of what she was.
Crystal, let's put that as a quote for this podcast from Peaches Bias. Megan Fox is a flashlight.
I think that's the opening stinger right there.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is that there's also a way to do this movie and make it good. Have you seen Ex Machina? Because that's an example of all of these tropes, and it's like subversive and it's asking some interesting questions. This movie didn't know if it was trying to raise a dangerous specter of like an AI future that's going to destroy us all, or if it was being a stupid campy B movie where you get a robo hand job. And I think it tried to do both, because it tried to do a bit of both, it really did neither.
I agree with you. I think, and I love the dynamic of this show, because I think it's good that the two of you, Baby obviously is trying kind of to redeem herself for forcing us to watch this. And so I like that she's kind of trying, it's sort of like being in a courtroom or something.
Yeah.
And Crystal's sort of, holding her hand to the fire here. I actually find myself agreeing with both of you, which is why the movie is, I'm not mad that I watched it, but I also don't think it's a camp classic, nor is it going to stand the test of time. But was it fun and enjoyable to watch on a rainy San Francisco afternoon? Totally.
And, and you're right with that, because maybe that's just the way it is. Because maybe if this film was made a long time ago, and people could like discover it, and it would become something that you could like really latch onto. Whereas, as you said, we live in the streaming era now, where they're chucking films on Netflix every other day, and there's so much. It's kind of like, I enjoyed it, and I definitely did, but yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to go back to it ever. Although I have talked about it quite a lot over the last week or so, so maybe that's an indication.
What was the movie? There's all these streaming movies now that are like camp and they live in the zeitgeist for a brief moment in time and they disappear. And it'll be interesting to see, but this hasn't seemed to grab on to the queer community the way that I can't remember the name, but it was the Possession movie where Glenn Close said that she could smell the woman's nappy pussy.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
Deliverance.
Yeah, Deliverance, which was made for streamers, but it really caught the queer community's, pop culture sense of camp. Probably solely because you've got possessed Glenn Close saying "I can smell your nappy pussy," which is iconic and will always be iconic. But I also don't think that's a movie we're going to be talking about or watching in 10 years.
Which is so interesting. I've got a quick question for you over that, Peaches. Can you think of anything in the last 5 years that you think? I mean, I don't think we're anywhere near the trilogy of Valley of the Dolls, Showgirls, and what was the other one?
Mommy Dearest.
Oh, of course, Mommy Dearest. In the last 5 years, is there any film that you can think of that has been close to kind of that legacy, that long-lasting legacy, or even 10 years?
Honestly, no. I think those movies come out, and I definitely think there are movies that are breaking new ground, and that, like, I'll watch The Substance in 10 years. I'll watch The Substance in 20 years. I would love to screen it. I think it, really did something special, but I wouldn't put it knew what it was. It was very, very self-aware. It was intentionally designed to be what it was. But the movies, that sort of holy trilogy of unintentionally making genius, legendary camp, that I can't think of anything. Can you all think of anything? I can't really.
No, I can't. I actually can't.
I do see The Substance as a movie that will, I mean, as you say, it does very much know what it's doing. And it's like, it's fully intentional camp, but I see it living on for a long time, that movie. Somehow.
Yes.
I think it really did something special and it grabbed people's attention.
Guys, can we stop talking about Demi Moore, please? Back to Megan Fox.
Control yourself!
So what I really want to know is this going to be a camp classic? Crystal, I think it's time to get onto the scores, my love.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into it. We need to score this movie. So we need to give this movie a score out of 10 Merrills.
I'm Julia Child. Bon appetit.
And that's the quality of the movie. And 10 Lizas. That's the campness of the movie.
Okay.
Peaches, over to you first. How many Merrills?
2.
2 Merrills.
Short,
nice.
Sweet. It's like nothing else.
Yeah.
There's not much there.
How about you, baby?
I mean, I've got to fucking agree with Peaches. You can't. I mean, even a 2 feels. You can't punch to a. I mean, even the cinematography is pretty fucking shit, isn't it? I'm gonna give it a 2, but it's really, that's a generous 2, I think.
I'm gonna give it 0 Merrills.
Whoa! Harsh.
This movie needs to be told. Okay, that was easy. How about Liza's, the camp factor of this movie?
For me, I would probably, because of Megan, and I think because I just really enjoy her and enjoyed watching her, and there was definitely stuff that made me laugh and that I enjoyed, and because he was gay porn, lusty, I'll give it 5.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, I think
Baby?
I'm thinking in a similar world to Peaches. I sort of think of this as like when Joan Crawford went into her B-movie later career era. I sort of see this with Megan Fox. So I sort of love this trajectory for her. And she is smoking hot anyway. I found it very funny, so I'm going to give it 6, actually. I'm going to give it a 6.
Nice. I'm with you, Peaches. It's got glimmers of hope and glimmers of joy. And Megan Fox is fab. But it never gets above a 5 for me. 5 Lizas.
Yeah.
And there we go.
There we go.
So what else do you want? Megan Fox
now it
giving
has been
hand
said.
jobs in her fucking underwear while a hot guy I mean, what else can you want? There's babies being killed. What else do you want from a camp film? I'm confused.
Well, it's funny because do you remember when we did Wild Things? You found it too male gaze to look past.
That's because April Maguire didn't write that.
I think that was my problem with this one. I just couldn't get over the like misogynistic lens that the entire movie was operating from.
Well, only a man would say that about April Maguire's work. So I'm sorry, April, if you're listening. Love you, babe. Can't wait to see what you come up with next. Although looking at your IMDb, there's not much.
Well, I will say one thing. Baby did was she pulled us away from Demi Moore back to Megan Fox, but I do want to say that Demi in The Substance actually took a risk and did that genre film, and of course Demi read the script and knew it was going to be great, but like, my God, she's being rewarded, and I do think Megan has that in her career, before it's all said and done. So if nothing else, I hope that I hope Megan keeps showing up in sort of genre work and weird stuff, but I just hope she gets that great script, and because she has the talent. I do think she has the talent, not just the looks.
And you're so right, and it's so fucking lovely when you see these actors get those comebacks and those juicy roles, and like that. I agree. Like seeing what's happened with Demi recently, it's just like, that feels right, doesn't it? It feels right.
It feels well deserved. She was always cool. I think she ended up doing cool stuff as a young woman, and she, kind of was adjacent to the Brat Pack, and then became a household name with the movie Ghost, which, was fine or whatever. But to see her get to come back at this stage in her life and her career and do something so fucking cool and so audacious. And I think Megan could have that moment, Just gotta keep lifting her up.
You need to write the film, Peaches. You need to do the film.
Maybe I will.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, God, I could use some Megan Fox in my life, while we wait for that new magnum opus, just do yourself a favor, skip this one, and go watch Jennifer's Body. One other thing, sorry, I know we're done, but I'll probably even cut this out, but the actress who plays the wife, she was the child in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Really?
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And she was one of the kids in The Nanny as well, and so they basically cast her in a remake of Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and then they also made her say The Nanny in this movie. So I liked that little touch. It was a bit of stunt casting.
Absolutely. It actually is really, I mean, it's bizarre stunt casting because no one would fucking know it. You know what I mean? But this movie is very much, a weaker version of a kind of movie like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Totally, yeah.
Peaches, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Insert all of the louds, cheers, Crystal, everything. We've had an icon. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You've been by far better than me and Crystal if we were just talking about this film. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for where can people follow you and what are you working on at the moment?
Well, peacheschrist.com is actually up to date, which is surprising. And I'm on all the social medias. I'm even on Blue Sky now because I went off X when Mr. Musk took it over. So, you can follow me there. And then what am I working on? Well, I've got that Tim Curry event coming up, and I am working on a few movie projects that, could use financing. So, we'll see. And I have my own midnight movie podcast called Midnight Mass that you can listen to anywhere. And I just released a dance song with my friend Thomas Decker. So if you haven't heard Child of Christ, go listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever.
I love it. That was a really solid list of bits to promote.
And now you get
just movie, podcast, live event, song. So good.
And now you're going to ask me what
I
about
need to get to work. Yeah.
And
what about you?
Fuck all. You can catch me in a shower having a wank with an Alexa. There we go.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with some more camp classics.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Classic. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
No more hangers!
You thought you'd become a prostitute or a drug addict?
I used to love doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow too.